Today I'm going to be presenting the story of the Three Little Pigs, but not just any story of the Little Pigs. Today I'm going to present the true story of the Three Little Pigs, as told by the wolf himself. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. I'll let you know a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. Listen, this is the wolf. So this story will be told from the perspective of the wolf. We've all heard the story from the perspective or from the side of the Three Little Pigs, but we haven't heard it from the wolf himself. And we'll get to decide whose story is correct. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. There's an image. It looks like he's looking at a burger. It looks like there's a rabbit in there somewhere. It looks like there might be some bacon in there. Let's see what else. Maybe it's because of our diets. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Sneeze for sugar. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. I like this part. This is the real story. I like how they have how they make this into different like symbols. This is like, it looks like a little tail. It looks like this is bricks. There's some sticks on this one. Let's look at this one. Not that one. Then there's a little snap for the story. Let's keep going. Let's do one more page. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So he was just making a cake for his grandma. According to him, he was making a cake for the grandma. And he ran out of sugar. So I'm guessing he's going to go and get some sugar from the pigs. Look at him. Poor wolf. This is a great story. I love this story. This is one of the stories that I read to my kids a long time ago. And I think it's just amazing. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbors for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Now who in the world would do that? Obviously this pig. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? He goes to the piggy. I think I skipped an image. He's walking to the piggy. He's taking his little cup with him. Nice wolf. He goes to the house. I can't see the image here. Oh yeah, he's asking the little pig for, looks like he's like looking into the little pig's house, and the house is made out of straw. So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, I fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without a cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. Obviously, he's probably not gonna go home because the story needs to continue. Uh-oh. He's getting a little itchies. He's getting the itches on his nose. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Uh-oh. Well, I huffed and I puffed. No, not puffed. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. I'm sorry, I misread that. And I sneezed. A great sneeze. I wonder what's gonna happen. Maybe the pig dies and he eats him. I don't know. But it looks like it wasn't his fault though. He didn't. Well, let's find out first. Oh, there he is. So here's the wolf on the top. And now here's the little pig. Looks like a balloon. And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of a pile of straw was the first little pig. Dead as a doornail. He has been home the whole time. So what's the wolf to do? It seemed like a shame, like a real shame, to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. We'll stop here. So when you are talking, you need to be able to interact with your audience. One thing. When I mean interact, I don't mean that you're asking them questions. I mean that you are actually talking to the audience, that you are communicating with the audience, right? Another thing that we need to focus on is the volume, right? We need to be able to hear you. We need to be able to hear you. Volume is really important. So one, talk to your audience, and the way you communicate to your audience is by making eye contact with the people that you're talking to. Another thing is, when you are speaking, make sure that you're speaking loud enough so that people all the way in the back can hear you. Another thing that you should focus on is being able to own this space. This is your space here, okay? You saw me move from side to side. You saw me look at the board, but you also see me talking to the people or to the audience, right? You also, as I'm doing now, you're also using your arms, right? You're not just flailing around, but you're using your arms to communicate emotion, to communicate emphasis, okay? You are using them in a way that's, we've all done it before when we're like talking to people, and we're able to use our arms for, to communicate. So to recap, one, make sure that you are talking to your audience, communicating with your audience by eye contact, and also by moving around in this space. This is your space. Volume, and that's it for now. Now, I'm going to do another example of, this is a non-example. This is not what I want you to do, okay? So you have the example of what I just went over, and then this is what I don't want you to do, because this does tend to happen. And it's okay to be nervous, right? If you feel like you're being nervous, let me know and I will help you out with that. So this is a non-example. I'm gonna do a couple of them. The first one, I'm going to focus on the volume issue, because if we can't hear you, your presentation doesn't really work, right? If we can't hear you, then you're not presenting to anyone. You're just not presenting. You're just up. Okay, so go. True story into your face. Anybody knows the true story of little pigs, or at least they think they do. I'll let you down a secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard it before. My side of the story. I'm Alexander Tube. You can call me Apple. I'm how this whole big Apple thing started. It's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diets. Hey, it's not my fault if like cute little animals and bunnies, sheep and pigs. It's just the way we are. Cheeseburgers for cute folks will probably think we were big and bad. Okay, so that one, that's a non-example for volume. So that student would be, they will be talking to the audience, they will be communicating to the audience, but we can't hear them, right? Because their voice is really loud. It is imperative. Imperative means very important for you to communicate in a level of volume that is hearable or people can access it, right? If we can't hear you, we can't hear you. That's an issue. Here's another non-example. I'll just keep going on these slides. And this is the student that will just read from the board and not interact with the audience. The way that I'm interacting with the audience right now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to be able to communicate with your audience and not just read for them, because everybody can read themselves. Instead, you are presenting a piece of information to the audience, and you are the presenter, right? I don't want you to just read it, because if that's just what you're gonna do, you can just present the slides and get out the way and people will be able to read them, right? What's the point of presenting if you're not going to actually present? So here's a one that I don't want you to do. This is a student that would just read the slides. Maybe they might read them loud, volume is good, but there's no interaction with the space, with the class, okay? So this is a student that just reads the slides and stays in one spot. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built this whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind will build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, I fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's face, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. So I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. I hope you guys get the point that I don't want you to do that. The volume is great. There's some enunciation going on there, which is great. But I want you to communicate to your audience. So let me finish with that. Let me continue this story, and we'll do a couple more examples so that you get a good idea of what it is that I want you to do. Okay, so he ate the first pig, right? He ate the first pig. Now he looks like he's going to go to the second pig's house. Here we go. And scene. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. What is this pig doing here? Looks like he's shady. I don't know if he's shady. Here you go. Let's see what he does. This will be the last page. I rang the bell on the steakhouse. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, uh-oh. Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chin. I just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. There he is again, the little piggy. He's nicely shaven though. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down, just like his brothers. When the dust cleared, That looks like a little pig. Dead. That's a doornail. Wolf's honor. I hope this video helps. Please watch it a couple times. Please practice at home so that you are ready to present on Tuesday and Wednesday and maybe Friday if we have enough time. You guys are gonna do great.